Do you often find yourself looking at someone of the opposite sex, and out of the blue your mind entertains lustful thoughts? In a world where sexual immorality has been accepted and embraced, it often sounds absurd to condemn lust. It is so easy for us to accommodate lustful thoughts without feeling any guilt. In Jesus' time, things were no better. Lust was never classified as sexual immorality. However, in Matthew 5 verse 28, Jesus said this, "But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." During this time, the teachers of the day taught that adultery itself was wrong, but they applied the law only to the actions, not to the heart. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus expands the definition of sin beyond physical actions to the condition of the heart. Lust is not just an external act, like adultery, but an internal sin that corrupts a person spiritually. It reveals that sin starts with thoughts and desires before manifesting in actions. From Jesus' teaching, we should all know interesting things about lust. 1. The origin of lust goes back to the eyes. The Bible says that whoever looks at a woman, without looking, no lustful thoughts come to the mind. Our eyes are blessings to us, but if not controlled, they can lead us into great temptations. Job 31 verse 1 states, "I have made a covenant with my eyes. Why should I look upon a young woman?" In this verse, we see what Job did to overcome lust. He was so determined to overcome this sin that he made a covenant with his eyes that he will not look lustfully at a young woman. 2. The acts of adultery and lustful thoughts are not the same. We should not be deceived and think that lustful thoughts and acts of adultery are the same. The act of adultery is far worse than adultery in the heart. Jesus' point is that both are sins, and both are prohibited by the command against adultery. James 1 verses 14 to 15, ESV, says, "But each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. Then desire, when it has conceived, gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death." Lust is portrayed as a trap that leads from temptation to sin, and ultimately to spiritual and even physical death. The warning is clear. If lust is not controlled, it grows and destroys a person's relationship with God and others. 3. Lust is a sin of the heart. While lust starts by looking, the sin itself is committed in the heart. This means that we allow the thoughts to dwell in our minds and rest in our hearts. We may not be able to control passing thoughts or feelings, but we certainly do decide where our hearts and minds will rest. Imagination is a God-given gift, but if it is fed dirt by the eye, it will be dirty. All sin begins with the imagination. Therefore, what feeds the imagination is of maximum importance in overcoming lust. From this teaching, it is clear what can be classified as a lustful look. The look is not casual but persistent, the desire not involuntary but continued for a moment as well as cherished with longing. The next your mind entertains a lustful thought, be sure you can overcome it. While you cannot control what your eyes may see, you can choose what will dwell in your mind. As the saying goes, you cannot prevent a bird from flying over your head, but you can stop it from building a nest on it.